everyone, welcome back to my chef's days. Now first of all, you'll notice that I've had my pre-lockdown haircut, so I don't look like Captain Caveman anymore, which is very nice. But anyway, moving on, today I'm going to show you how to make sweet and sour chicken Hong Kong style-ish. I'm going to show you how to do a special little technique called velveting. So we mix up some egg whites, some soy sauce, some Shaoxing rice wine vinegar and a few other bits and bobs in a bowl, which we use to flavour our chicken with, and it gives it that nice crunchy coating that you get from the Chinese. So it's not a batter, but it's not far off. It's just makes it extra nice. And then I'm going to show you how to make some nice lovely buttery braised rice to serve with it. We'll make a nice easy sweet and sour sauce. I'll show you two ways to do the chicken. We'll do one way, well, I'll show you one way through the fryer, but you can also do it through a pan of boiling water, but I'll explain that as we go along. We're going to do some nice crunchy veg to go along with it. Now, you know, when you get your stir fries from the takeaway, quite often there's like little charred bits on the onions and the peppers and stuff. That's because they've got these mental turbo woks that they can use that generate so much heat. But I'm going to show you a little trick at home how you can do that just in a frying pan on your stove. If you want to get ready with your pause button, I'll put a list up now of all the ingredients that you're going to need for today's recipe. So first up, we're going to get our rice ready. This is just normal long grain rice. Now I'm going to be cooking for 6 people today, so I find the easiest way is measure out 6 handfuls. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that will give me enough rice. Now what we're going to do is take this over to the sink. We're just going to cover it in water, just cold water. I'm just going to leave that on the side like that. What this is going to do is going to draw all the starch out of the rice so that it's not all sticky and horrible when we go to cook it later. Next up, we're going to marinate our chicken. So in here I've got 6 chicken breast fillets, all diced up. I've not diced them up too small because I don't want them to dry out when we cook them. So they're just in a bowl there ready. And then we're going to get in here, I've got 2 egg whites. And we're going to pop into there, this stuff always makes a mess, just some standard corn flour. We're going to pop in 2 teaspoons of corn flour into there. We might need more, but we'll see how we go. And then we're going to put in a little sprinkle of Chinese 5 spice. I'm going to put in a little bit of Shaoxing rice wine vinegar. You can see hopefully in there I've got not a lot in there. So we're going to fire all that in. It's probably about a tablespoon. And then we're going to put in a tablespoon of light soy sauce. And we're just going to give this a little whisk up together. You just want to mix it, you don't want to whisk it so that you start getting loads of air bubbles. So once you've got your mix made, hopefully you can see in there what that looks like. We're just going to pour this over our chicken. Like that, and then just get your hands in there and make sure it's all covered. And then we're going to pop this in the fridge for maybe half an hour, just while we're doing the rest of our other stuff. You can leave it longer to marinate if you want. It will just make it nicer. And that's that for now. In fact, what I am going to do, now I've looked at it properly, I've realised that the sauce is a little bit too thin. So I'm going to add in another 2 teaspoons of corn flour. Just thicken up that marinade a little bit. Just give that a good massage round. We'll just make the sauce a little bit thicker. There you go, you can see now that it's a little bit more stickier. That should be okay now. Like I said, we'll just pop that in the fridge. For your sweet and sour sauce, I would recommend get a good sized pan, and then we're going to put into there, just using a normal cup like you would have your cup of tea. You want 1 cup of ketchup, 1 cup of normal white sugar, and 1 cup of vinegar, just normal white vinegar. Fire it all in here, give it a little mix, and we're just going to put that on a gentle heat just to get the flavours going. If you taste it now, you'll see that it tastes of sweet and sour. It's the easiest sweet and sour sauce in the world to make. I'm going to make mine a little bit just different today, so I'm going to put in just a slice of ginger. I've not peeled it or anything, that's just going to go in there and just infuse and just give it another little element of flavour. While our chicken is marinating, you can now get your veg ready. So I've just got a whole onion here, which I've cut up into sort of 1/2 inch size cubes. I've got 1 of each colour pepper in there. Then in here I've got a carrot that I've just I've cut lengthways and then cut it on the diagonal into nice thin little slices. I've got a tin of water chestnuts and a tin of bamboo shoots. I've also got a whole red chilli and a little bit of coriander. Now if you want your sweet and sour sauce, which is just sort of coming up to temperature here nicely, if you want that to have a little bit of a kick to it, get a chilli, just stab a hole in it with a fork or a knife or something, bosh it in the sauce, and it will give the flavour of the chilli but not the heat. If you don't want the flavour of the chilli, then don't put it in there. So there's all our veg done. All we're going to do now is we're going to light a gas, and we're going to put an empty frying pan on, and we're just going to get this nice and hot with no oil or anything in. Our frying pan's been on now with no oil or anything in. You can see hopefully there's a little bit of smoke coming off of it. Don't worry, as long as it's got no oil in there, it's not going to burst into flames or anything silly, because unless you can melt the metal, then you've got nothing to worry about. And all we're going to do now is get some of our onions and peppers. So I normally do about half of my onions and half of my peppers. Put them into your pan and just leave them for a second, and they'll start getting charry and smoky on the bottom. And we can put in as well some of our water chestnuts and bamboo shoots and a few bits of carrot. And we'll just give that like 30 seconds and then move it around a bit, let it just catch a little bit on the bottom, and then we'll do it again and again and again. You can see now that we've got half of our veg, I've just mixed it all together, which has not been through the frying pan, and then the other half that has. So hopefully you can see in there that there's all the nice little charred little black bits in there that just give it another little flavour, another little element. It's entirely up to you. If you don't want to do that, don't worry about doing it. Next up, we're going to sort our rice out. So you can see in here that the water inside has gone all a little bit sort of milky. So all we're going to do is get ourselves a colander, bang our rice in there, give it a good rinse under the tap. Once you're satisfied that you've got clear water running out from underneath it, just wash it back in the pan and then just cover it with cold water. So you can hopefully see in there is, like, if I put my finger in, it's literally just covering the tip of my finger. So you don't need loads in there. And now we can add in, put this down. I'm going to put in some, that way around, some onion granules. This is just for a little bit of flavour. I'm going to put in some garlic granules. probably about half a teaspoon of each. I'm going to put in a knob of butter. And I'm going to season with some salt and pepper. And that's it for now. We're just going to pop that on the stove. Not going to put the heat on, it's just going to sit there and wait ready for when I need it. It should be at the stage now where we've got our sauce on. I've turned mine off because I've done this video over the course of a couple of hours. I've got my rice sat with my seasonings in ready. Now if you're going to cook your chicken in a pan of water, which I'll show you that, have yourself a pan of water and there's no salt or anything in there, just water. And then you should have your vegetables ready, your charred vegetables ready, and your chicken. So I'm going to do most of my chicken in the fryer. I'm not going to show you that because my fryer's a bit minging. And I'll do some in the water, and then I'll come back and I'll show you the difference between them. So to do your chicken in your water, you can see down in here, this is just the chicken how I pulled it out of the fridge. So when you pull it out of the mixture, it will have a little bit of marinade on. I've got rapidly boiling water, and I'm just gonna show you the ones in the water. I'll just put 4 in. So they're gonna go in, and you can see them in there. They'll start turning white, like normal chicken when you boil it or cook it whatever way. You will notice that you'll get a little bit of fuzzy stuff on top of the water. That's just bits of the corn flour and stuff floating up to the surface, but don't worry about it. Right, this is just to show you the difference between the ones that we boiled in plain water and the ones we fried. Obviously, there's the colour difference. These to me look more aesthetically pleasing. If you're on a bit of a diet, then these are going to be the healthier option. Now you'll notice on there, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up, but there's like a film on there that to some people might look a little bit weird, but it's meant to be on there. It's also on here, but because these have been through the fryer, they look like they've got a little bit of batter on them, but it's just a really thin coating of the corn flour mixing. And you'll see inside, hopefully, that they are nice and juicy. And same for these ones. So it's up to you, whatever you use, just get them cooked and then we can put them in the sauce. Now we've got everything ready, we can do our final little bit to get our sweet and sour chicken ready. So we've got our rice sat here. I'm just going to get a flame alight. We're just going to pop that on there. Give it a little stir around just in case any of the rice is clumped together. Don't worry about that for a minute, and then we're just going to get all of our veg and we're going to pop it into our sauce over here. We're now going to pop our chicken in as well into here. I've put a flame under that, and that will come up to temperature, get everything cooked, and job done. We'll just give this a little mix around. You'll see that the sauce, if you wanted to thicken up the sauce, you could have, before we added all the other ingredients, thicken up with a little bit of corn flour. I don't think it needs it. You can see now that that's just coating that nicely. We're just going to bring this all up to a gentle simmer while the rice is cooking, and we're nearly there. So you can see our rice has come up to the boil. I've just moved it off of the big flame I had it on onto a slightly smaller one. And all we're going to do is we're just going to keep on a gentle little boil. We'll keep the lid on, and then once the water drops just below the level of the top of the rice, we're going to turn it off We're going to chuck in a cupful of peas as well, just to a bit more flavour and colour. And then we'll just leave it turned off on the side for 10 minutes while the chicken's coming up to temperature, and you'll have some nice beautiful buttery rice. So you can see now that if we go into the rice and we move it away a little bit, there's not a lot of water left in there, which is perfect. So what we're going to do is turn the heat off. We're going to fire in our peas. We're going to put the mix around. And we're just going to put the lid on. We're going to leave that there for 10 minutes just to finish cooking through. And here we go, the end products. So got our rice, all nice and fluffy, not stuck together. Nice little bit of flavour in there. And then our chicken, just the right amount of sauce in there, if you ask me anyway. And it's not too thick. Absolutely beautiful. Just need to plate it up. And here we go, the end result. Nice lovely bit of rice, beautiful bit of chicken in there. Add a bit of chilli and coriander if you want a bit of extra flavour. Absolutely banging. No need to go to the takeaway.